Welcome to the Sunday morning simulcast with Rom Wills. Always look for the good. Always look for the good in something. Like in the good in a situation, the good in people and everything. Now, look, let me be very clear about that. Don't have rose-colored glasses on and miss the bad in a person or a situation. You always want to see that. You want to see everything. But, you know, as my dear grandmother would say, may she rest her soul, there's always a silver lining in something. You always want to look for that because, yeah, there's bad. You can see the bad in situations. You can definitely see the bad in people and everything, and that can mess you up. That can get you depressed or anything. But when you see the good, you might can see your way out of a bad situation. You might can see the good in a person. You might be able to deal with them because you're not dealing with their bad side, you're dealing with their good side. And especially in a situation, no matter what, you can see the good in it. Because, okay, y'all remember last year around this time, I was recovering from the stroke, right? As bad as that was, I actually saw some good in it. I said, well, yeah, I did need a break, didn't I? And I actually thought that way. I was like, you know, I needed to lay back. You know, I didn't miss any bills, everything. I had enough money to cover everything. So I was just like, maybe I needed a break. Yeah, as bad as it was, I was like, maybe I needed something. Because one of the things is always finding that good. Because I'm going to tell you what, when we focus on the bad, we can get depressed. And that's major. That's major. You have some people, they taking medicine, seeing doctors and everything. You know, that can really hurt them. See, because we can see the bad in it. And like I said, you don't want to have rose-colored glasses and miss the bad because you're going to need to maybe duck some things. And there's nothing wrong with that. But also see the good in something. Always probably see the good in life. You know, like if you're going through any situation right now, you know what? If you're watching this video, that means you're still alive. There's some good there. Find that good, you know? If you can eat something, that's good. There's some people can't eat. You got a roof over your head, that's good. Yeah, it's tough. The money, hey, you could be in a tough money situation. You still have a roof over your head, you know? If you dealing with some negative people, if you got some really good friends, think about that, you know? For every negative thought, replace it with a positive thought. And yes, definitely you want to see, you know, you don't want to ignore the bad, but you don't want to dwell on it. I see a lot of people, they'll dwell on something bad, you know, and I'm saying, well, sometimes you just, even when you see something bad, you got to think about, okay, you see it, but then you get some tea, just drink some tea, just say, okay, but yeah, here's the stuff that's happening. This is what's going on. Because I've seen plenty of situations on different levels in my life. You know, I see something bad happening, but then I see some people coming together to do something about it. You know, you might have something bad happening in a community or something, but then some people will come together and do something about it. You know, there was a neighborhood in the Baltimore area. They were having trouble with murders. But people came together and they, so far, have gone several days over a year without anything happening. They came together. That's a good thing. They took a bad situation and made it good. Like if you ever going through a bad situation, look for the good, look for what good can come out of it, look for a way to make it good. Like I say, and I'm saying for the third time, you don't want to ignore anything. You will still want to see it, but don't dwell on it. See, a lot of people will go through something bad and they'll dwell on it. Okay, it's happening. What are you going to do about it? That's the good. Think about what can you bring out of this? How can you turn the situation around? That's the good. Always look for it. And that's very important. That's very important because You know, there's a lot going on in the world. Let's just be real. There's a lot going on in the world. I could do a whole channel probably talking about it. And no, please don't get in the comments talking about, hey, do something. No, no, no. This is my way of, I do what I do, okay? And one of the things is, you know, especially on Sundays, is to be more inspirational. Be more inspirational, you know? Or even that, let me tell a story about that, because I was going to cut doing stuff on Sundays. I was just like, man, people are not listening. But then I met two twins, two young men at a self-improvement summit. And they said something I talked about on a Sunday really helped me. That forced me to see the good there. It was like, oh, wait a minute, this is doing good for somebody. People ain't, not as many people watching it and everything, but if I'm doing good for somebody, maybe I'm doing good for someone else. Let me keep going with it, you know? Like every situation you get in, everything that you're doing in life, yeah, it could be tough. It could be some tough, but what good are you doing with it? Always think about it. Like any job, what good are you doing with that job? How are you helping people? Because I always joke around and say I had 1,000 jobs, and there's been some tough instances, of course, but then there's been some good instances where I was able to help people, regardless of the job, regardless. I've worked in offices, I've worked retail, done everything. I've worked cleaning in a neighborhood. Hey, let me talk about that. That was one of my earliest summer jobs, cleaning in, I'm not going to announce the neighborhood, but it was a bad neighborhood in the DC area, known for drugs and everything. And it was me and some other young men, we were just around there cleaning. You know, we could look at the bad and look at the police around there, look how bad it was, but then we saw the good that we could make it. See, that's something else too. Can you make something good no matter how bad it is? You know, can you find the good in it? Can you bring the good out of it? That's how you have to think. That's how you have to go through life. Because if we focus on just the bad, like I said earlier, it can really hurt us. You know, we could be seeing a doctor, taking medicines, everything. But if we, no matter what it is, say, well, hold up. Here's the good in it. Here's what is brought out. Here's what you were looking at now. That's actually more important. Very, very important. And you have to stick with that. Always look for the good. Yeah, and it's tough. And I'm not going to lie, it's going to be tough sometimes. It's going to be tough because you got so many forces that might focus on the bad. You got people making money off the bad, one way or the other. Just sometimes even just talking about it. And it was like, okay, and it's, you know, you need people to talk about it. You need people to look at it, but then think about how can you make it good? What's the good? What's the silver lining in it? And that's how you have to be, all right? I want y'all to really think about that, all right? No matter what's going on, always look for the good. So I want everyone to keep rising to become the best person that they can possibly be, okay? So peace and blessings.